Oh my god, dude. First thing I instantly noticed, these wheels are massive. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy, you already know, OG Dan, back again with another video, and today we are taking a first look at the HiBoy electric longboard. So without further ado, let's get into this. So because this video is a first impressions video and not a review of the board, I'm not going to get super detailed into all the specs of the board. I'm just kind of going to give you guys my thoughts of currently riding it for the past 2 days or so, how I got the board, and stuff like that. So let's get started. So right off the bat, the first thing that I really like is that this board is hub motors, which means, as I'm doing right now, you can just push it manually. So if you run out of battery, you can still use it. Or if you just feel like pushing it a little bit, you can certainly do that too. It's really cool to have that. Belt drive motors, I mean, you can push it, but from what I've been told at least, it's not the greatest. There's a lot of resistance when you push. Another good thing about hub motors is they are extremely quiet. Here, let me just turn the motor on. And I don't even think you guys can hear that. You probably hear the wind more than you hear the motors. Here, I'm gonna turn around the way where my hair looks crazy so that you don't hear the wind, but listen to this. You don't even hear the motors at all. No motors. Let's also talk about the brakes on the board. So when I first got the board, I tried out the brakes and I didn't think they were very good. I thought they were way too responsive for the board and it would just throw me off every time I used them. But with that being said, after practicing with the board for about a day or two and getting used to how electric longboards feel, because this is my first one, I've really started to like the brakes because I can be going full speed on this thing and then stop like in about less than 10 meters after I press the full brakes. So this skateboard claims to be able to go anywhere from 18 miles per hour to about 22 miles per hour top speed, and they're not wrong. I know for a fact that I've gone more than 18 miles per hour because my family owns an electric scooter that can go about 18.1 miles per hour and it has a speedometer right built into it. So I've had them go max speed right next to me and I've been able to catch up and pass them with my max speed. So I think the max speed depends more on your weight, if anything, but it can go more than 18 miles per hour. If I had to guess, I would say around 20 for me, and I weigh about 140 pounds. So take that however you will, but the speed is definitely there, and it's pretty fun. Honestly, with this type of board, I wouldn't honestly want to be going anywhere faster than 18 miles per hour anyways, and that's because of what we're going to talk about next. So the build of the board. So this board is not very flexy at all, which I honestly do not expect it to be at the price point of $340. It has enormous wheels, about 90 millimeters in circumference, or diameter, 90 millimeters diameter, I believe. Pretty decent bearings. They're very quiet, very smooth. They're not good for pushing, but they're good for using the remote. The board actually did not come with tail guards, but HiBoy sent me a $60 regular skateboard to also test, and that one actually came with tail guards, and they didn't work very great on that board. So what I did was I just took them off of the cheap board and put them on this board, and it's been great ever since. So another design thing that I'm not super stoked on, but you know, like, what do you do about it, is actually the riser pads on the trucks. They are almost 1/2 inch riser pads. They are enormous. And my guess would be that would have to be for either the turning so you don't get wheel bite, or for the battery so it doesn't hit the ground. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not my favorite feature. And because it's already a top mount and it's got the huge riser pads, it makes the board very high off the ground. And you know what I always say about that? It means less stability. When you have a board that is that high off of the ground, you can't expect to be the most stable on the ground just because you're not closest to the ground to be stable. And that is actually why I say I don't want this board going more than 18 miles per hour because I already feel somewhat unstable at that top speed, and I don't think I want it to be going like 25 miles and up, just because, you know, I value my life a little bit and I don't want to completely die. But with that being said, I will say that 18 miles per hour as a top speed is plenty fast enough for like 90% of riders. Like seriously, you don't need to be going more than 18 miles per hour on a board like this. It's plenty fast. It's faster than most bikes go normally. So you're not gonna have a problem with speed, at least for 90% of you. I know some of you speed demons out there really like your 28 mile per hour top speed or whatever, fine. But for beginners and intermediates and people just looking for quick transportation, this is definitely gonna do it for you. I also wanted to really quickly touch on the battery life of the board. So it claims to get about a range of anywhere from 12 to 13 miles, and I have not actually gone the entire distance yet. That will be for the review. But I will say that I have gone over 6 miles and the battery has not gone under 50%. So that tells me that's getting more than 12 miles, at least off of that. Again, more testing will be done in the full review, but so far the range is looking really good, really awesome. It's really great to have range that's like 12 miles or more. Like 3 years ago, back when Boosted was on their V2s, their top range for a $1,500 board was like 7 miles. So this is insane improvement in 3 years time to be able to get 12 miles of range out of a board that is $340. It's amazing. I also wanted to really quickly talk about this remote. I actually really like the design of this remote. It's definitely a cheap remote. There's no screen in it, but it is actually pretty nice. I like how they have this little hole here so you can grab it like this with your hand. And that's really nice because sometimes I like wearing gloves when it's kind of cold out and it's hard to get a good grip on it with the gloves, but when you have the hole, you can put your finger through it so you know you're not going to lose it. So right here at the top, we have the little scroll wheel. That's for you push up to accelerate, push down to brake. Down below it here, we have 4 little LEDs here, and these 4 LEDs, when you press the power button, they switch between 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that tells you your speed and braking modes. So here's the top one, that's the top mode, so 18 mile per hour and the hardest braking, which is usually what I do. Sometimes I'll go 3 if I just want to cruise, but I would definitely recommend starting at the first one when you're a beginner. That's what I did, and work your way up. So also above that, there's this little Wi-Fi indicator, and when it's blinking green, that means that your board's connected and it's going to be moving forward. And when you press up here, there's a reverse button. When you press that, it's going to start blinking red. And that means that it's in reverse, and you want to make sure to keep an eye on that because you don't want to try to go forward and accidentally go in reverse. I've done that a couple too many times. And then above that, there's the power button. You tap it to switch between your modes and you hold it to power it off. At the bottom here, there's the charging port. It just says a micro USB, I believe. And that's about it. So overall, I have been extremely impressed with this board in the first 2 days that I've owned it. HiBoy, you've done a great job with a budget board. The only thing I don't like is how the board is super rigid and how it's so high off the ground. But alas, you gotta make a few sacrifices when you're buying a board that's only $340. And considering they did not skimp on the battery, the acceleration, or the speed, this seems like a pretty good board. Obviously, I still got a little more testing to do. That will be in the full review, along with testing all the little features to each specific metric. Everything's going to be super precise and awesome, so definitely look out for that. But for now, it looks like a pretty great board. Well, you guys, that's all I got for today's video. Remember, if you liked it, make sure to hit the like button, and if you really liked it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because that'd be cool. Anyways, if you guys have any kinds of things you want me to test or questions you have about the electric board, be sure to drop them in the comments, and I will definitely make sure to get to them in the final review. With that being said, that's all I got. I'll see you guys on Saturday's video. It's going to be pretty cool, and have a good rest of your week. Peace out, guys.